Hello and welcome to an attempted live broadcast of Tuesday lunch update from National Finals 2022. So, what has happened today? There has been a lot that has happened today. For starters, round one today, Brookbanks lose to the Ramseys 75-115. Alyssa Ramsey gets a quiz out. Rachel Brookbanks goes out backwards. There are 5 unsuccessful contests. They were really duking it out, and of course they were because they're one of the top 2 teams. So then Deeper Church loses to Utica 55-185. Christian Stevens is the only quiz out. San Jose, that was knocking people out left and right yesterday off of the undefeated list, they take a loss this morning to Houston, Pennsylvania, 115-170. And Logan Webb has the only quiz out for the round. And then we have San Diego. True Disciples lose to the Care Bears from Bellevue, 170-195. The Care Bears have a double quiz out from Sam Clinston and Elizabeth Gadavarthy. Elizabeth Lee from San Diego also had a quiz out. Very high-scoring match for 2 really good teams. Braeswood storms Naperville and takes a win this morning. So way to go, Braeswood. That was no doubt a really tough match, and that was 180-110. Katie Little with a quiz out and Sheldon with a 95-point quiz out. So then we have Marietta 1, who was at third place, takes a series of losses this morning. First to Cedar Park, a 175-35. Josie Haugo with a 130-point quiz out, and Shreya with an 85-point quiz out. Then Marietta 2 also beats Marietta 1, 140-110. Leslie Cohen with a 110-point quiz out, Shreya with an 85-point quiz out, and Steve Joy went out backwards. Braeswood beats Trinity 2, 150-140. So Braeswood just sniping 2 of the top 10 teams, bam, bam, back to back like that this morning. Way to go, Braeswood. They were having a hot morning with some of the good teams. So that was 150-140. Andrew Pickrell with a 120 quiz out, and Katie Little again with a quiz out of 85. The Brookbanks then beat the Powells. So that's the Naperville's second loss for the morning. And that was a 155-105 game. Hadassah with a 90-point quiz out and Sheldon with a 95-point quiz out. Then Utica beats Marietta 1. So that's Marietta takes 3 losses in a row, which, good thing it's lunch because they can recover and get back into the afternoon game. So that was a 155-120. Really close game. Shreya with a 110-point quiz out and Christian Stevens with a 120 quiz out. So a lot has happened this morning. Okay, so we have here are the rankings. Trinity 1 with maintains undefeated status. Trinity 1 is undefeated, a point average of 203 points per game. Ramsey family has managed to just stick with the 1 loss so far and they've won some really key games. So they have a 223-point average. Utica is tied with the Ramseys in second place right now. And let's see if that is still the case. Okay, Utica, they have not populated one of the rounds. It looks like round 13 is not populated. So Utica is tied, and then we have in 4th and 5th, Brookbanks and Deeper Church. Naperville drops down into 6th place. San Jose tied with them, as well as Trinity 2. And Marietta down below that, in San Diego and Bellevue Care Bears. So Sheldon is at a 121-point average with a 210-point lead on Samuel Jaberij, and Cameron Ramsey tied with him. So Sam has caught up to Cameron, and they are duking it out. Sam Clinston from Bellevue is right on their coattails, just 15 points behind. Shreya, just 20 points behind them, and Rachel with just 10 points behind there. So there is still quite a close distance here between 2nd place down to 7th place individually. And let's see, let's refresh this, make sure we got the most up-to-date stats here. My 5-minute update is going over. My apologies. Well, we have Elizabeth Godavarthi with a 48 10-point questions. 48 10-point questions. She is in the lead for 10-point questions. Let's see if we can get this over. It's not going to work for us. Okay, so we have 48 10s. Elizabeth currently in the lead with Chris, John, and Ava Chassot at 46 10-pointers. And I believe Joy Escobar with 41. Katie Little with 40. And Joseph Baharis with 44. And Simeon Ponraj with 41. So there is definitely a neck and neck going on with the top 10-point quizzer for the tournament. And that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So far, Shreya, even though they took 3 losses in a row, she has managed to stick with quizzing out every single round. So, pretty remarkable. And let's see if I can get a play on this. I don't know if this is showing. Okay. We're going to pop that down there and take this over to here. Okay, so here's what the rest of the day looks like with rounds of the teams that I had been looking at. So round 15, Trinity has, they're playing Trinity 2, then Trinity is playing the Brookbanks, and then Utica. After that, as you can see, I categorized red as kind of the top 5 teams and yellow as teams at the time that had 130 points and up. So they're good teams that had the potential of beating, causing upset matches for those top 5 teams. So as you can see here, once Trinity finishes the day out today, it's fairly smooth sailing for them. They're not playing any of the top 5 teams, and there are some teams that definitely could present some upsets for them. So basically this afternoon will really largely determine whether or not Trinity will win the national championship. These are the most important 4 rounds left for them, so to speak. Obviously, they need to land the other ones, and a lot of other teams can beat them. They have Deeper Church tomorrow, Braeswood, that beat Naperville, San Diego won, Bellevue won, San Jose that beat the Brookbank. So there's a lot of teams that have the potential to beat them. So also this afternoon we have the Ramseys playing Utica, and Utica also playing Naperville in round 16. And then, Trinity in round 18, Utica versus Trinity 1. So Marietta has played a lot of they played Utica. They have several tough rounds in the days to come as well. Deeper Church, I think, will be on the rise on the stats for teams. And then in the next 2 days, they'll have some tough rounds ahead of them. So we'll see how everyone lands. Thank you for joining in. And I will be back around 5 to 6 with an evening update. Take care. And